Hi everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we'll basically develop the logic for the two lambdas we are having, and also try to test them locally. And if possible, if we have time, we will try to push the code as well for the two lambdas. But yeah, I'll focus on creation of the code of first the ingestion, and then if time permits, we can take compliance lambda as well in this video. Otherwise, I'll take it up in the next one. So moving to the prompt cheat sheet, so we were done till here, where our Terraform basic setup was done and deployed. We saw that the different services were also created in the AWS cloud. Now next thing is we have to set up the virtual environment for our project. It would be a Python file which will contain the lambda logic. So let me quickly create the virtual environment first, and yeah, let's do that. And second thing is going to be the activation of that environment, right, which is done. We don't have any requirements.txt, but yeah, if obviously once we do the basic setup of lambda, things may get more involved, and it may involve more dependencies as well. So for that you would need to install those dependencies via pip install. Right now we don't need that, and yeah, if Python and pip are not coming installed at your end, then you would need to install Python and pip at your end, right? I already have that installed, so that particular error didn't come for me. Now let's understand that Boto 3 and Boto core, they are already available in the lambda runtime, so it is not required for us to basically put them in requirements.txt. So but obviously at our end we would need to install it in our virtual environment setup, because they don't come pre-installed, right? So basically the few dependencies the AWS lambda gives you pre-build or pre-installed, because those are very common ones, and they don't want you to unnecessarily do the hassle of installing those dependencies, right? So let me install it, since it's our local environment. So obviously we would need to install the Boto and Boto core dependencies, because obviously Boto would be needed in our case, because all these different logic are written with Boto 3 session, right? As you would see when we basically put the code into our main.py. Now, so we have the basic dependencies installed, we have the virtual environment created. Now this is the prompt to create the ingestion lambda. Okay, so I have given that main.py will have the handler, and the input to this handler would be something like this. Okay, so when an actual S3 event is passed, few some key and some key value pairs or the format could be little different. So that we will basically tackle when we actually move towards S3 event, but it would be very similar to this, where you would have a contract ID. If contract ID is not there coming from S3, then we basically create that contract ID, because it helps us in mapping what contract are we talking about here, right? If suppose the key becomes same, sometimes it can happen, right? So we have just given that this is how it would look. Based on that, it will design the code, the parameters of different functions, and so on and so forth. And we are writing that this should extract text from the document in such a way that the compliance lambda can apply compliance rules. Okay, on the on the output of this lambda, right? Output the text extracted, which can be used by compliance lambda. Got it? So let us take this entire prompt, and with our main.py selected, what I'll do is I'll quickly give this prompt, and yeah, let's just wait for it to give us the code. Yes, so it gave me the initial code setup. I have just pasted it into the main.py file. One error it was giving me is that the Python interpreter was not configured. So just you can click on that warning and it will take you to that product a dialog box. Select the Python SDK there, and those errors should get resolved after that. Right now, I don't see the handler function here, so I'm just asking it to put the handler as well. And by the way, let me change it to agent because I want it to change the code itself instead of me copy pasting that code snippet, right? That's a quicker way of doing things. Yes, so yes, when I gave that particular prompt, it came up and put that handler function. So basically idea is that it would extract text from the document, okay, and it is using text extract as I told you previously, and that is why we gave access of text extract to the ingestion lambda execution role, right? Okay, and Boto 3 is required to have that particular library setup in place, right? So since we have this, what we can do is we can quickly test this out. Okay, so this is the expected event as per the prompt which I gave, right, which is what it is taking. So what you can do is you can create a small local file to have that, or to trigger that particular handler, and take it from there, right? So yes, right. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to give the correct bucket name, okay, instead of a dummy. Okay, so this can go empty, which is fine. S3 bucket, this is fine. S3 bucket, we have to give the proper bucket name, right? So which I'll just quickly go and get it from the console. Right. Okay, so let's do that now. Let me go to S3 and quickly grab the bucket name, which is nothing but the name which you will see here, which is this one, right? So this is the name, this is the key. We will basically put this contracts PDF inside of that bucket. Okay, so let's go inside of this bucket. Let me create a folder real quick. We will call it contracts, okay, and create the folder. Does it already exist? Strange. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so I think I took the wrong name, but yeah, I mean, I'll quickly change it across here because we are calling it the compliance automation, not the other one, right? So this is fine. Let us create the folder contracts, and I already have a document which is named contract.pdf. It contains a MSA master services agreement. So this is the file we will use, which will get ingested. The text would get ingested, and then on that text we will try to see the compliance. We will apply the compliance rules and see if it makes sense. Okay, so let me go ahead and quickly upload this file inside of this folder. Okay, because before we locally test that Lambda, we would need that file to exist, because that Lambda will read this object from S3, right? Okay, makes sense. And this is contract.pdf. Okay, so let us just tell it to create it in the same folder to avoid unnecessary complication. I mean, generally if you don't give to create it in the same folder, it will create a separate scripts folder, so which is also fine. I mean, it doesn't harm us in any way, right? So this is the trigger. It is calling it the trigger.py, which is fine, no problem there. And it is creating the contract ID, right? And make event, yeah. Okay, so currently contract ID would be empty, right? Initially it would be empty. So what we can say is that so event dot get contract ID, if contract ID it finds as empty, then we will ask it to generate it with UUID. Contract ID if empty with UUID. So it will put that logic there in the main.py. So let it put that quickly. Okay. Yes. So it would import the UUID dependency. Yeah, generally we just need a random number, for us to. Oh my god, what is it doing? Oh my god. Oh, I clicked on the UUID.py. I was just shocked what kind of logic it is writing, Yes, missing or empty. Okay, else str UUID, whatever, it, whatever is the standard way, it is taking that, right? So we are fine here. Trigger, here it would be basically make event, right? So I'll just remove this particular thing here, right, and just have it as an empty string only. Why to bother unnecessary, right? So yeah, this looks fine. Let me go to this folder real quick. Okay, and now we will run that trigger file. We'll see what we get as output, right? Let's see. You must specify region. Okay, Boto core exceptions, no region error. Right. By the way, this Lambda, what we are creating, could be a separate repo in itself also. Okay, along with these modules which we have inside of infra. If when things get involved and you have some existing infrastructure already in place, generally what happens is you have one repo or setup each for the different modules we have put inside of the modules folder. Okay, so you will have one repo for Lambda, one repo for S3, one repo for Step Functions, one repo for IAM roles related part, and then the output from the roles get used in other repos, and so on and so forth, right? But since first we are taking this or starting this from scratch, and we want people who have not set up anything at their end to be able to use this video series and complete the entire agentic flow. That is why we are taking everything in one repo. But yeah, once things get more involved, then you may have to divide it in another repo, and that is why we have designed it in such a way that things are modularized, right? Ingestion compliance could be two separate repos or workspaces in themselves, right? Okay, so let it do this change for the region. Let it put region US East 1. So what would happen is, why I'm telling this is that when you have it separated, then each repo will have its own config environment file, right? So it's not necessary that we have to always traverse the user configs from dev tf to various different folders. We have done it only for infra. Okay, it's not that we will keep on traversing it to ingestion and Lambda related folders also. That is not required. Okay, so yeah, it has put the region first. It will try to get the region from the environment variables. If not, as I put in the prompt, just take it as US East 1. Okay, because that is the region we have put in our dev.tf, right? Yeah, and be careful with region, because if you get the region wrong once, then it becomes really difficult to destroy the services from that region and then point it to the other region. You may have to do things, you may have to destroy the resources from the wrong region and recreate it in the new region, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so it can mess things up, so that is why you should be careful about that. Okay, so I have not logged in, which is fine. This is the error which obviously I was expecting. So for login, as I have explained you yesterday, we just use this export, and it basically exports, or the user romith at which I have, it assumes the tfe deploy role, which is what we need here, because that role has all the accesses as we saw yesterday, right? So it is now invoking the ingestion handler, which is great. And yeah, I mean, you can once you have the basic code written, then you can add the logs, print statements, and whatnot, right? Yes, so basically it has come up with the text. It is able to, extract the text. As we see here, we were basically, it has given us the output contract ID created with the UUID and the extracted text, okay, which is what we needed, right? This extracted text will then be used by the compliance lambda to apply the compliance rules and give us a summary, right? So I think this works as what we wanted it to, which is great. Let me just give a prompt, add a print and logger statement in each function. In main.py. Okay, so I'll take this and also update my prompt here. Okay, so we should always keep on fine-tuning the prompts as well, right? So that next time we don't have to give these prompts separately. So that is why I wanted to have a prompt template cheat sheet, because it really fastens things up. Okay, if you would have done this by giving some generic prompts, then you would need to readjust and adjust a lot, which I already did. So I did the heavy lifting, so since my aim is to help you guys in whatever way I can, that is why I'm giving a prompt cheat sheet as well, to make life easier for you and get the flow and the setup done, and then you have all the freedom to add, tweak different services here and there in that workflow, right? Yes, so let it put the print statements. Okay, so what I have done is I'm just doing a copy of the format or the output from the ingestion lambda, right? And I just basically paste it in the JSON formatter to see what kind of format we are having. Okay, so I think we are fine over here with respect to ingestion. We have the trigger file, we have the main file. Okay, and what we can do is we can quickly go to the finder, just delete this dummy ingestion.zip, create it into that zip, ingestion.zip, right? Okay, so we are fine here. Now let's go to the compliance lambda here. The lambda has been tried locally. Okay, input from ingestion with output as with format as, okay. So obviously I'll just remove this part here. Right. Okay, so it will basically take the input or output from ingestion as its input, use Bedrock APIs to provide a summary about the compliance. And one more thing is we have to say that you have to apply compliance related to some rules. Okay, so somewhere we had specified that, I remember. Let me quickly grab that. Yeah, let me search for SOX. Yes, so we have given it here. Okay, okay. So yeah, I have tweaked the compliance prompt, related prompt. Let me put this agent is here, compliance, okay, main.py. Let's go. Yes, so it has come up with the code. Let's see if we have the handler function. Yeah, handler function is there, which basically takes the input as the format we have given, and then it goes and what is this, analyze text rules. So it is running a local check for GDPR SOX relevant indicators, which is fine. And the major part is the calling the Bedrock APIs. Okay, so it is creating the prompt, findings, contact ID, findings, text sample. Okay, extracted text is a text sample. Findings, what are the findings? I just want to check on that one. Yeah, findings is the local check. Whatever it is doing, it is putting it in the prompt to, you know, make it more specific heuristic findings, right? And then it will basically wait for the response to be returned from the Bedrock. Here it is just building the prompt. The next step is to call the Bedrock API, right? And the model ID, what is this Bedrock region? Let us quickly check. Yeah, it is EUS East 1. It is the basically the app region, right? Model ID is something which I think we would need to set it somewhere. Okay. Okay. Model ID could be, we will just put the ID or the ARN handler here to make it real quick. Okay. So to do that, what we can do is we can go to the Amazon Bedrock, right? And go to the model catalog. So I've used Amazon Nova Lite in my previous experiments on this agentic flow, so I'll continue to use that. Okay. Hopefully it should work with this region. Okay, if it doesn't work, then we'll see you know, what is the error. Based on that, we can, you know, quickly so model ID, I'm using the Amazon Nova Lite. Okay, response, right? Yeah, coming back to the prompt, it is asking us to create a trigger like ingestion. I think that I think makes sense. If we can have a ingestion like trigger inside of the compliance folder as well, right? So that you know, we can just quickly test this out. Okay, so we have that trigger. Okay, which is great. Extracted text is something which I'll put from here. Okay, so since we want to basically do the local testing, you know, I'll just put it as it is, taken, you know, from the output of your ingestion code. Okay, looks good. And this event acts as the input to the handler. Inside of your main.py, right? So I think we are fine here. We have given the model ID, we have a trigger, we have the test event JSON as well. So instead of ingestion, let's go to your compliance folder and okay, so Okay, so there was an error saying please reformat your input and try again. Key message is not found. Okay, so basically the format in which that model expects your input request is not matching, right? So obviously we may have to work towards that. Message, there is a message key somewhere which it is trying to try with, but it is not finding that. Okay, so let me give this error. And mind you, for different type of models like Anthropic, Amazon, the input formats may differ a bit, so you may have to put a case statement or an if else based on the model family. Okay, and put the code based on different model families. Okay, the input request format may not be same for all model families, Viz, Amazon, Anthropic, Claude, etc. Right? Okay, I think this is the format in which it expects. Right, so we have given that. Okay, hopefully it should work now. Model identifier is invalid, so we can try out with the ARN. Sometimes the model ID doesn't work, so what I'll do is I'll open it in Playground. I think it shows somewhere in a listing page, if I'm not wrong. Inside of the catalog there is a table I saw which contains the list, and there you see the ARN for different models, right? Batch inference, let's check. Yes, so Nova 2 Lite inference profile ID. What is this? Inference profile ARN. I think this is the one which I'm looking at, right? Okay, so instead of this, I'll simply put the ARN. Okay, and trigger the file. Let's see if it works now. The provided model identifier is invalid. Okay, so it doesn't work like that also. Okay, so then Nova Lite, model Nova Lite is what I'm looking at, not Nova 2 Lite. Yes, I mean you may have to do some mix and match to get this working. So this is just a POC, so we are not that much concerned with which exact model we are using. You can use Anthropic, you can use Amazon, whatever works and makes your POC faster, just do that. Model identifier is invalid. Okay, I used the ARN only at that time. Yeah, I mean it should have worked, but yeah, seems like it is not working. let's see if there is a separate format for the ARN related input. Let's see. Yes, so actually the issue was that we were giving a wrong model ID here when we were setting the variable here at the top, Bedrock model ID. Now what we have here is it will check inside of this function which makes the actual API call. It checks with if this Bedrock model ID contains any of the models. So we have given the model ID there, so this would satisfy, and Bedrock model ID would get assigned to the actual model ID here. Okay, and it will call the API. Okay, let me quickly show you. Okay, so it takes some time to give the output. Okay, so this is the output we have got from Bedrock. Okay, which means that our compliance lambda has worked. Model output raw. Okay, and then you have the findings. Okay, the local findings, I suppose it is putting here along with the model output parsed. Okay, so that output contains the summary as well. Okay, if I take this JSON, right, if I take only that JSON, let me quickly do that before I wind up. Okay, it is basically finding some parse issues. Anyway, so I don't want to get into this. We have got our output. The Bedrock API has worked. The most important task we have been able to test. Okay, so I'll stop this video right here. We have Ingestion Lambda working locally. We have Compliance Lambda working locally. We will create a basically a trigger file to Step Functions to see if that trigger file is able to trigger Step Functions, and the Step Functions does both the workflows in sequence, starting with ingestion and then compliance. So that is something which we'll do in the next video. So yeah, for now I hope you like the video and you're following the series, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.